Welcome back to Survival on Purpose coverage of 2024 Blaze Show. And I have the honor of speaking with Dom Roso, who is the founder of, how do you pronounce it, Dynamis?
Dynamis.
Yeah. Blaze and Alliance and Crush Everything. And we've seen Dom before, I think, but he was a Naval Special Warfare, I think SEAL Team 6 guy, and that's great. He's got all the skills and all, but what's really cool is he is really a good dude, and he cares about his family and he cares about the Lord. And to me, that means everything, you know. And I like to see that somebody who is definitely a man's man can still be God's man. You know?
Yes, sir.
So anyway, thanks for taking a minute. That's a crazy busy show here.
Right.
He was just giving me some tips off camera. So I got one of his knives yesterday, so I'm looking forward to learning how to use that a little better. But so, how long have you been out of the Navy?
Oh, man, I don't even know if I count the years anymore, but it's 11, 12-ish at this point. It feels like yesterday, you know, when you live that intensive a lifestyle. You know, I was part of Special Warfare. You know, I was blessed and honored to do so many different things overseas with so many great people. And that led me to this. You know, that led me to, what am I going to do? I'm sure a lot of veterans out there, I'm sure really any man can relate to the fact that, like, okay, I'm transitioning to this huge way of life. Now what do I do? And so I was like, okay, I love training. I love everyday carry, concealed carry. I did a lot of low-vis operations. So knowing that I wanted somebody to be capable and go out and to be able to protect themselves from the evil of the world, that was the conception of what Crush Everything really stands for. You know, Dynamis means the will to fight. So when I created a brand, it was really around a mindset. And, you know, any good company is going to do that, to say, like, this is deep rooted within me of, I will fight nail and tooth for my family, which is right over here. They're with me at the show. And that was the blessing of this year. I got to take them with me. But I will fight nail and tooth for them. I will die for them. And I will fight to the death for what I believe in. And I think that's important for the good guys in the world, like you, like the guy behind the camera, Luke, and like everybody that comes here to the show. They're like, hey, I want to carry something to protect myself, my family, my way of life. And that is what our brand represents, is to be able to bring that to other people physically. And it's very easy physically to say, hey, I need to train. I need to have the right gear. Well, that's what we do. But then as I started to grow as a man, as a father, as a husband, I started to realize that's not the only thing that we need. You can have a gun, you can have a blade, but at the end of the day, what are the morals in your heart and in your mind that are allowing you to apply those things to defend yourself? Because if we can't make good, sound, faithful decisions, now we're just a liability. Now we're going to hurt people. And that's why my faith has grown so much, because without that element at the foundation of it all, it's all fragile, it's all broken, it's all not in right ordered relationship. Because a guy with a gun without the right mindset, without faith, is honestly a danger to everybody. But if I know I need to apply that first, well, then I can use it in a way that's going to help and bring life to people and not take away. So I think that's, to me, you know, we talked a long time ago. We talked very adamantly about how training and gear is important. And even today, it's about faith. It's about how I can explain that to other men. It's a critical element of who we are. Blade's cool, guns cool, company's cool. Let's start with the right conversation, because we can further align together as a team, as a brotherhood, by getting on the same page with what God is asking us to do before we go do any of this stuff. Then we apply this. Now we're capable. Now we're working on the same sheet of music, able to make a real difference in the world.
And so what do you say to people who say, well, that's not a very Christian attitude, talking about carrying a gun and you know, stabbing people and shooting people? You know, how do you respond to that? I've had that question.
It's a great question that comes up a lot. And the truth is that we are physical beings. We are right here and right now. And the blessing of being able to go over and see evil unfold again and again and again overseas. I'm not just some dude that just said, hey, this is a good idea to carry a gun because I want to go be this guy. No, I've seen real evil. And if somebody kicks down that door right now and they start shooting this place up, or they're a threat to my family and my 2-year-old son, there's no way in anything that I've ever learned in this world that you can sit here and tell me that I'm supposed to do nothing. Okay? Prayer and faith is what allows us to know that I'm going to make the right decision when that situation happens. evil is very real, and it exists in the world, and it's clear in the Bible. It's clear through Scripture that we're not just supposed to sit down and do nothing. We pray so that we can make the right decision, but we're not just going to bend over and fold to know that we're supposed to sit here and let evil act out that threat in this world. The other thing, too, as Christians, I think it's important to understand, even the circumstance where God gave us a small glimpse, Peter drew his sword and cut off the guy's ear, right? Yep. Right before Jesus started his passion. God permitted that situation to happen. Now, Christ healed him, and it was washed in that moment, but Christ himself was standing in the midst of this physical situation. And I truly believe that if Christ said, oh yeah, you can do whatever you want, you could lob a guy's head off and you could cut anybody's ears off, well then that would give us as Christians permission to go think about and doing whatever we wanted. Now in our own broken understanding of our own, how we make decisions, what would we do with that? We would abuse that power. And so Christ never says it's okay to go. And that's why he asks us to pray, so that we will be able to choose the right action in the moment that we're presented with evil. And I pray that we all make the right decision.
That was the best answer I've ever heard to that question.
Praise God.
I
really pray about it a lot. I really do.
You pray to make the right decisions. That's great.
Correct.
Because, I agree with you.
And we all hope as Christians we never have to use it.
Yeah.
We don't want to have to act it out. I always say, love unconditionally. Love somebody until they give you a reason not to. So if somebody's here, even if they're not right or making you feel right, still try to unconditionally love them. But if you kick that door in and you start shooting, you just took that away from me.
Yeah.
I cannot do that in that moment. I have to protect my family.
Right. And you have 5 children?
I have 5 children.
Got me by 1. I have 4. And the guy behind the camera is one of them. But yeah,
right
so to transition back, just because I want to make sure that people know about your company, because I think you're, not just because your stuff is great, because I like supporting companies that have good values, right?
Thank you.
And I know, so most of your knives are made by Daniel Winkler?
So our legacy blades, our first blades, we partner with Daniel Winkler. Yeah. They're hard to beat. They're hard to beat, the legacy blades that we have. And then our other line of blades are production that we started to take on to venture out in some other different capabilities. We're really adamant about making things for saltwater. And so we started to really do a dive blade, some saltwater blades, some active blades that we could really apply to that water lifestyle.
So one of the guys apparently that helped you with that was, he popped in yesterday. I was talking to him he's like a metallurgist, machinist guy.
Yes.
And he's telling me all the chemistry and the math and the sciences in those blades. I'm thinking, man.
That's why I partner with my buddy Vic.
Yeah.
He is a scientist. He's a mad scientist when it comes to that stuff.
He's talking about the molecules, this, and they got this, and they got the edge, and I'm like, okay, man, you got it.
I say, all right, this is the design I want for everyday carry and fighting. You make it not rust. And he's like, okay, this metal with this hardening and this combination, and we put it together and we make a great product.
Yeah, so your son was telling me that you had what's the new knife you got, the one that you released today?
The Crusader.
The Crusader,
yep.
That in a bag full of salt water for like 20 days with no rust or something.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so we're constantly putting things through saltwater testing. In my time in the teams, of course, as a SEAL, we're in all different types of saltwater environments, and that environment will eat away at anything. It is unforgiving. So if it can hold up in that environment, it's going to be able to hold up in any other environment that you bring it into, which is why I'm like, if I can use it for that, you can sweat on it all day long, not have to oil it, and it will work. This new blade is made out of Magna Cut, and of course I made it for our methods of how we fight and how we apply our tactics.
Yeah, so, and that is, again, the
Crusader blade.
Crusader blade.
Yeah, we just released that today, yesterday.
And you can find that on
crusheverything.com. It's really, really hard. Crusheverything.com.
Along with some really cool training and some other stuff.
That's right.
And then and you also got belts, and you got what about you got apparel, pants?
We have apparel.
Stuff.
Everything that we build is American made. American made jeans, American made belts. I think the biggest thing to understand is if you guys haven't seen our brand before, we're really word of mouth. Stuff like this helps us out because we don't advertise. In fact, Google, Facebook, they don't allow us to advertise. But everything we do really is word of mouth. We care about what we do. We care about the guy that's carrying it. It's all based on low vis. I always say we're building the Iron Man suit that you can't see. It's the stuff that's hidden. I want a guy to be completely capable, but you don't know that he's carrying his stuff every day.
And so one of the things that really attracted me to your brand, as far as the tools and the gear goes, is that we're here at the Blade Show, Knife Show, and there are literally hundreds and hundreds of blade manufacturers and business companies here, and so many of them, they're making stuff because that's what people want to buy.
Right.
And I learned a long time ago, like if it's something I want to trust my life to, it's not the place to cut corners, it's not the place to look for the budget bargaining in the basement
Absolutely
stuff. And the fact that you are somebody who has hands-on life experience using the tools that you're making and selling, then to me that means a lot, because that's you didn't just draw a design on a piece of paper and say, this looks cool, we're going to make this. Right? You know?
I take years. And I think the key element, even that's sparking in my heart right now, is that I worked at the highest levels of tier 1. And so I was a research and development and gear guy for all the gear the guys use, from head to toe. Even today, the guys are still using some of the stuff I helped design. Everything that I created, guys' lives depended on. I couldn't cut corners. Everything that we create, every little detail and spec of our gear has purpose. I do not do anything fancy or that's non-functional. And so you're right. You know, the market wants to make all these fancy things out there. That's just not what we stand for. I'm not here to make anybody look good. I'm here to protect you and make sure that you have what you need and your life depends on it, plain and simple.
So what's your biggest selling piece of gear? I would imagine it's the screwdriver, the combat tactical.
That's a great guess, but the actual best-selling product we have is our belt.
Okay.
So our belt, which you can carry anywhere in the world, you can load it with quarters. You know, if you need a change pouch or you need an improvised weapon, you can hide cash in it, documents, your keys. But it's something you can wear anywhere in the world, and you still have a really good tool to protect yourself. That's why it's one of the better sellers. And it's comfortable. It doesn't have any metal on it, and it's super easy to use with everyday carry. And it's Jack Carr uses it all the time.
Yeah.
It's just something to use. If you can't carry a blade or a gun, I would absolutely recommend having one of our belts.
I agree. I just bought him one because we got out of the truck this morning. He's like, you know, I need a new belt, Dad. Mine's wearing out. I was like, oh, man. I come in here and there's a belt, so that's cool.
Awesome.
I know. Speaking of Jack Carr, if you're not familiar with Jack Carr, shame on you, because man, he's like
who doesn't know about
my favorite author in the world. You know, he's got the Prime hit terminal list on Prime. He's coming out with another one, but I know your products are featured prevalently in his books. I think that's something I respect about him. I've never met him, but we have some mutual friends. Is the fact that he gives homage to people he respects in his books. He doesn't just he's not just making stuff up. It's not one of those books you're never going to read in one of his books about somebody dropping the safety on a Glock. Okay,
that's right.
You know,
I appreciate it. He's got to be the best author in applying the gear and the knowledge. I mean, I've trained with him multiple times. He knows what he's talking about. So it's good and refreshing to see somebody setting a new standard. To be like, read this, but also apply it in a way that's realistic to your life. You know,
new book's coming out too. It's not a Jack Carr video, but I know it's coming out soon. I've already pre-ordered my shot.
It's okay. I'll pump my buddy Jack Carr. We can promote his brand here.
And there's some. And one of the things I've learned a little bit about you, because you did a couple of podcasts with him, and they were like, man, I'm telling you, look those up. They're excellent.
Yeah.
You really want to learn about not just about SEAL stuff, but about man stuff. You know, humanity and manliness and manhood. Really good stuff. Well, look, I know you're busy. You're trying to sell some stuff here. I really appreciate you taking a minute.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for all the tips you gave me before.
Yes, not a problem at all.
So again, Crush Everything. Check them out. I'll put links to the YouTube channel, to everything down here. Give them some love. They're good people. And if you want a #1, straight up, something you can trust your life to, they got it.
God bless you guys.